Hi there, I'm Jarrell Dulé, the director of the Silver Falls game series. We launched the first game in our series in 2020, which was 3 Down Stars for the new Nintendo 3DS. It was followed up by Silver Falls Undertakers, which is available on all 3DS models, and we also launched a free game that anyone can download and play on pretty much any hardware they want, which is Galaxy Bound Curse for the Nintendo Game Boy. You can actually grab the ROM from our website for free. You can play it on original hardware if you have the flashcards for it. You can put it on any console you want. And we also, earlier this year, released Frontier Fighters Mini. So we know that there are people out there who want to try the 3 Down Stars game, but they don't have a new 3DS. They have an original 3DS. So Frontier Fighters Mini is a JRPG style game that's 100% free. You can download it right now from our website. And we include a couple different packages so that you can play that on any hardware. And that gives you a bit of insight into the characters and story of 3 Down Stars without really spoiling anything. And also it has an infinite style of gameplay with RPG mechanics and battle systems, so feel free to give that a go. But what we're really here today to talk about is Silver Falls White Inside Its Umbra, which we just announced, and it will be exclusive to the Nintendo Wii U, which is quite odd and exciting, considering that the Wii U isn't really getting many new games these days, and Nintendo seems to be moving on from that. Next year, they will stop accepting new games, so I thought, heck, this would be a pretty fun time to get a couple games onto that console, just, see how much more fun we can have with that before we have to move on from there. So, without further ado, I'd like to share some details about White Inside Its Umbra, what we will call Silver Falls Wii U for the time being, for the rest of this video. So what makes this interesting and why it cannot work on any other console is that Silver Falls Wii U uses the gamepad and the Wiimote. You don't need Motion Plus. A standard Wiimote will work just fine. Now, how the story mode works for Silver Falls Wii U is the player points the Wiimote at the screen, and this actually points a flashlight. So the player will be exploring, in a story mode, the player will be exploring a dark environment, open world in the mountains, and the Wiimote points the flashlight at the environments, like this. It has a narrow beam, just like it would have in real life if you've ever been hiking in the mountains at night in pitch black. It can be quite eerie, as you feel a very tactile connection to your environment, moving like this frantically to see if there's something moving, something coming towards you from the bushes. I feel that's quite exciting gameplay. Now the players actually use the D-pad to move the characters. So up, down, left, and right will cause your character to walk forward, walk back, and strafe. There we go. And by pointing the Wiimote towards the edges of the screen, left and right, you can actually turn your character in different directions. So it's an interesting control scheme. And the reason why we do that is because the player pretty much always holds the gamepad in their other hand, like this. And the reason why that is for anyone who's played 3 Down Stars and possibly some of the other games as well, there is a portable handheld device, which is sort of a smartphone in the Silver Falls universe, called the TechPad. And the TechPad has a bunch of apps on it. It has a camera. It makes radio calls and phone calls, or radio transmissions and phone calls. And how that is useful and critical in Wii U is that there is a phone application on the TechPad, so which I'll be referring to the TechPad from now on in the context of Silver Falls. So the player will be navigating the environment, so they'll be pointing the flashlight left and right, and they might hear something moving in the bushes, but they don't see anything. There's a particular type of creature in Silver Falls Wii U that is not visible to the human eye and requires a digital camera. So in that instance, the player would bring up their TechPad, open up the camera app, and look around. So you are actually exploring the world on 2 different screens. You're looking around, and you're using your flashlight, and you're also holding up gamepad, and you're looking around like this, looking for any invisible creatures. There are a variety of different creatures that you will encounter in Silver Falls Wii U. That's just one of them. Now the difficulty with this is you think, oh, okay, maybe I'll just keep this up all the time. I'll always know where the enemies are, and I'll scare them away, by using my flashlight. The difficulty with that is that, just like real smart devices, the TechPad has limited battery, and having the camera open drains the battery very quickly. So there will be an entire interface, and you can explore the lore and history of sort of this character and the friendships and relationships they have by exploring their tech pad. You can sort of read their text messages. You can play games and apps that are built into the tech pad as well. So if you want, you could boot up Silver Falls Wii U. You don't even need to play through the story mode. You can actually just sit there in the parking lot and play on the smart device that's on your tech pad with a bunch of things that are built in. So I think that would be quite a bit of fun. People who have been enjoying the series so far know that it's quite lore rich, and there's a lot of fictional IP that exists. So for anyone that's interested in seeing a sort of Maverick D. Moose or maybe a Bojo Bilby mobile game, you might see a few things like that pop up on the tech pad. So I hope people actually have a lot of fun with that. It's not just a game where you explore the mountains. You can actually just sit and play the imaginary fictional IP that exists on the tech pad. So hopefully that will be quite fun for people. Now, the story of Silver Falls Wii U follows a character named Bjorna Hancock, and she's searching for her cousin Ken, who has gone missing in the mountains. And there's been rumors that people have seen someone matching his description. So after work, Bjorna is a part-time waitress at the Frying Saucer Diner and a full-time horse trainer. So after work, she thinks, okay, well, we'll get some people in town together, and we will see if we can find Ken, and maybe he's lost and we can rescue him. So the story picks up from there. There will be a number of characters that players of the other Silver Falls games might be familiar with that will be involved in the story mode. And outside of story mode, there is a rather large mode called Frontier Hunters. And Frontier Hunters is similar to 3 Down Stars for those who enjoyed Frontier Fighters and 3 Down Stars. Frontier Fighters is more of an RPG take on the core formula of the game, and that it adds in a whole bunch of character customization, equipment, weapons that you can find and customize and level up, and there are all sorts of different skills that you can customize for your characters as well. So outside of that, players who enjoyed the skill board from 3 Down Stars will have a new system to explore and play with in Frontier Hunters. In Frontier Hunters, it uses a skill wheel system, and the skill wheel system has a sort of wheel shape, and each character has a unique layout of skills. And these skills are activated by placing spokes on the wheel, but all the spokes are very different shapes. They can be wildly crazy, they can be Z-shaped, L-shaped, and you earn these skill spokes by completing missions in Frontier Hunters mode. And you get random loot drops, so the more skill spokes that you have, the more skills you can unlock and enable on different characters, but then these spokes are not permanent. You might realize, uh-oh, I think I really need this skill on this character. Oh, I'll take this spoke from this character and put it onto another character. That was a fun sort of puzzle-solving aspect from 3 Down Stars that we are implementing in Frontier Hunters in a different way that's interesting in its own sort of unique way. And outside of just having sort of RPG aspects and the puzzle solving to it for skills, Frontier Hunters will be 4 players. Well, actually, it will be 5 players. 4 players get to use a Wiimote, and they get to aim at the screen like a traditional light gun shooter, and they'll get to shoot enemies using their array of equipped weapons and skills. And the 5th player actually gets to use the gamepad. And this is optional. You don't have to have a player on the gamepad, but it was always a bit of a challenge in light gun shooter games when you realize all of your weapons are empty and you need to reload them, but reloading takes quite a while. So you can have a player on the gamepad can see all the information for the various players that are using the Wiimotes, and the player that's using the gamepad can actually reload weapons for the other players. So while I'm using my handgun, pow, 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 bang, 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 gun, 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 oh no, my handgun's empty, I'll switch to my shotgun for now, okay? Pew, pew, gun, 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 oh no, I've run out of ammo on my shotgun now. But if I had another player with me, they can reload the gun that I'm not using, or the guns I'm not using, they can reload that for me using the touchscreen. And ta-da, that makes quite a bit more fun when you're doing difficult levels. There'll be some other elements and ways that the player on the tech pad can interact and assist with the missions as well, but we'll go into that at a later time. So while the story mode won't be a 30-hour epic, it will be a short and sweet story that is compact. You could probably finish it in 2 or 3 sittings, but it's meant to be open world. You can explore, you can learn more about the lore of the world of Silver Falls, you can interact with characters and just have fun exploring this environment. But the real meat of the game comes from Frontier Hunters and the variety of characters that will be playable in that mode. So not only will the characters from story mode be available to play as in Frontier Hunters, but you can connect Silver Falls Wii U to other Silver Falls games to unlock more playable characters. For example, if you connect with Silver Falls Undertakers, that will add Bull Brandish as a playable character, and who knows what other characters will become available. This is a system that is already in use with all the Silver Falls games. They can connect to each other, and you can add characters from one game into another game. If the games take place in different decades and time periods, you can sort of keep track of what characters are doing with their lives and how things have changed for them, and where their lives are going. I think from a storytelling aspect, that's quite fun, and it's very rewarding to see characters in different stages of their lives. We currently have a novel, which is Silver Falls Heavy Shadow, that is on chapter 14. You can read that now for free from our website, silverfallsgame.com. And we have a special system that allows you to connect Silver Falls Wii U to our novel, Heavy Shadow. That will actually take characters from the novel and unlock them in the Wii U game as playable characters. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Technology is quite fantastic. Frontier Hunters will be quite fun playing with 4 players, but that's not the only reason I created that mode. Personally, I suppose it's a bit of wish fulfillment. When I went to the arcades, or even playing a game at home, I always enjoyed using 2 guns on my own when playing a light gun shooter game. This way, 2 players can each use 2 of their own guns and shoot enemies on the screen. I hope you have a lot of fun with that. Lastly, in Frontier Hunters mode, there will be an exploration aspect to it as well. So aside from just shooting enemies, players will be able to explore environments to pick up resources and items to bring back to camp. These items can be used to craft food, which can be useful for power-ups, and they can sell these items so they can earn money for more ammunition. So, I hope players look forward to enjoying that mode and the hours and hours of fun that will definitely be provided by exploring and building up skills and characters. If you would like to support our studio and help us develop our games faster, you can feel free to check out our other games. We have 3 Down Stars and Undertakers on the 3DS. We have Episode Prelude on the Nintendo Switch. And, just for fun, you can also play Galaxy Bound Curse, which is a Game Boy ROM, for free, and Frontier Fighters Mini, which works on Windows and all sorts of other platforms. Check it out on our website. You can read Heavy Shadow, our sci-fi thriller novel, for free from our website. And once that novel is concluded, we will be selling paperbacks and even hardcovers. We hope you've enjoyed hearing the details about our upcoming exclusive Wii U game, but that's not the only game to look forward to. We do have other titles that are in development for Wii U, which won't be exclusive, but they will still make use of the great features the Wii U has to offer. Not only that, but we still have games coming to the 3DS, specifically for those players who really want a new 3DS game to get excited about. Don't worry, we've still got games for you too. And meanwhile, we're focusing our primary development on the Nintendo Switch. So, if you're looking for a new game for that console that you can take on the go, please look forward to Campfire Stories, which we will be covering soon in another video. Thanks very much for tuning in and checking out our video, and feel free to check out the other games and our novel if you haven't done so already. Thank you very much again. Welcome to Silver Falls.